And the White House is also celebrating today's Supreme Court decision. A statement from White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany reads in part, quote, laws that condition public benefits like need-based academic scholarships on religious status demonstrate state-sanctioned hostility to religion, pressure people and institutions to censor their religious views, and stigmatize disfavored religions. Joining me now on Skype is Montse Alvarado, Vice President and Executive Director at Beckett, a nonprofit law firm dedicated to protecting religious freedom. Montse, welcome back. Always so good to see you.
Thank you so much, Tracy. It's great to be here with you.
Well, Montse, I understand that Beckett filed a friend of the court brief in support of the parents in this case. What does today's decision mean in terms of non-discrimination protections to religious schools?
Tracy, this has been part of the Beckett Fund for Religious Liberty's work for over 25 years. Since our founding, we knew that this was what we wanted to focus on. And Blaine amendments today, on this historic day for religious freedom, are done. The court said that they were born of bigotry and that history means that they violate the free exercise clause. They violate religious freedom. They said that Blaine amendments can no longer be used to deny equal treatment to religious institutions just because they're religious, and that applies exactly to schools.
I know teachers' organizations have said that this ruling hurts public education. What do you say to that?
You know, the 10% of students that already go to private schools should have equal opportunities, just like public schools, to these public programs. Trinity Lutheran was a great case about a tire scraps program, recycling tire scraps for playgrounds, where the Supreme Court said that you were not allowed to discriminate against religious schools because they wanted to participate in this program because they were religious. You're not allowed to treat them differently because they're religious. So this is a fantastic decision for religious freedom. The limits that these anti-Catholic laws placed on the free exercise of religion are gone. They're gone, and we should celebrate that.
Yeah, and as you know, the Blaine amendments were a big focus in this case and today's opinion as well. For people who may not be familiar, can you fill us in on its history and impact on Catholics in this country?
Absolutely. At least 37 states have some form of Blaine amendment in their state constitution. With the founding, a lot of these states were forced to have these anti-Catholic sections within their constitutions as part of their welcome into our union. And we know that they came from the original anti-Catholic bigotry, where the main government at the time didn't want Catholics to have schools. And this limitation has that pernicious history that today has been ruled unconstitutional.
Yeah, and this decision recognizes the unconstitutionality of Montana's Blaine Amendment. What does that mean for other states?
You know, there are all sorts of ways that religious groups partner with the government, groups that do good. That includes groups like homeless shelters and prison ministries that fight recidivism, and soup kitchens and hospitals. They all, in every state around the country now, have equal access to these government programs and to partnerships with the government on equal footing with non-religious institutions. So if the word sectarian appears in your state constitution, the government can no longer use that as an excuse for excluding religious groups in their partnerships and their contracts.
Montse, any final thoughts on today's ruling?
It's a fantastic ruling. I'm so pleased for what it means for our country, and especially in these times when we're watching protests around the country, these painful times on racism. It's nice to see the Supreme Court take a stand on religious discrimination as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Montse, thank you so much for coming on. We always appreciate it. Montse Alvarado, Vice President and Executive Director at Beckett. Thank you again for your insights.
Thank you, Tracy.